Hey, John Mayfield, the real estate tech guy. Thank you for joining me for a very quick math problem for the real estate exam. So let's go through this, and I have the math problem on the board. You can see here that this month's interest payment is $651.70. If the buyer secured a 90% loan at 6.75% annual interest, what was the sales price? Hey, this could be a math problem you could see on the real estate exam, and it's not that difficult. Now, if you're like me, math always freaked me out in school. But I hated math years ago, but I've become a lover of math because I figured out some easy ways to solve math problems. And literally, you can solve this math problem with very little ease. I'm going to walk you through this right now. So let's go over to the board. I'm going to have a new page so that we can go back and forth to both of these. Now, a couple of things we want to just kind of understand that we're looking at this month's interest payment is $651.70. So let me just tip you off that anytime we can figure out what the monthly interest is, if we can convert that to an annual number, it will give us insight into something else that we may need. So first thing we need to do is convert the monthly interest, okay? The monthly interest, we're going to pick up these keywords. We want to convert that to an annual number. So let's go to page number 2, and let's take the $651.70 and let's multiply that times 12. Why? Because remember, this is only the monthly interest. I better put monthly interest right there. That's the monthly interest. So when we multiply that times 12, it will give us the annual interest, right? So let me find my calculator, which should have been somewhere right here. Now I can't find it. Oh, here it is right here. Always something, right? So got the good old calculator. You know, calculators kind of ruined us on just figuring it the old-fashioned way. And artificial intelligence, AI, can sometimes do the same thing. So I'm trying to really limit how I use AI because I want to keep my own brain and my own stuff that I have up in my head to be creative. And so I still use AI for a few little things to look up, but I'm trying to limit how much I use AI. All right, so $651.70, and we want to multiply that times 12. That gives me $7,820.40. Now, let's just double check. 651.70, that's the right number. So 651.70 times 12 gives you 7,820.40. I always like to double check. Now, remember our T problem that we've talked about so many times? We have part, total, and percent. Do we know the percent that we need to use for this problem? Absolutely. It is 6.75%. Now you may be saying, John, here's a percent here. Why are we not using the 90%? Well, that's the loan. They got a 90% loan. And so we're going to use this, but right now we're trying to deal with, well, what was the actual loan amount? And so if we know the monthly interest and we know the interest rate, we can plug all that in and we can figure it out. So 6.75%. Now remember, I always like to convert 2 decimal places over. So this will be 0.0675. Now the question is, where does this number go? Does it go down here with the total? Or would that go up here for the part? Well, remember, part's always the lower number, and total is always the bigger number. And in this situation, we're trying to figure out what? We know the annual interest. We're trying to figure out the loan amount. So would the loan amount be bigger or smaller in this problem? Well, I think it's going to be the loan amount is going to be the bigger number, but the interest here, what I want to show here, the annual interest will be the smaller number. And so we have $7,820.40. That is the annual interest, right? We knew the monthly interest. We multiplied it times 12. We get the annual interest. Now, what does our math tell us to do? Well, anytime you have one at the top and one at the bottom, the math tells you to divide. And you're always going to put the top one, the top number, the part or the lower number, in your calculator first. So 7,820.40 divided by 0.0675 gives me, and I'll do a different color here, $115,857.78. That is the loan amount. However, what do they want us to answer in the problem? What was the sales price? Do we know the loan to value ratio? Yes, it was a 90% loan. So now let's go back over here, and we want to work a new T problem. So now we're going to work another T problem. Actually, I'd rather do that in black, if that's okay. Put your math symbols on the problem, because remember, if we have both the bottom ones, our math tells us to multiply. All right, so do we know the percent? Yes, it's a 90% loan to value. So we move our decimal over and we have 0.90 here. Do we know the total? No, that's what we're solving for. The sale price is going to be higher than the loan amount, right? Do we know the part? Yes, this is now the loan amount. Earlier, in the previous T, it was the total interest paid for that year. But now it's the loan amount. So what was the loan amount? Well, it is $115,857.78. This is the loan amount. What does our math tell us to do? Well, we have one on the top and one on the bottom, and so the math tells us to divide. And John said, I always put that top number in first, so now I'm going to divide that by 0.90, and the answer I get is $128,730.86. Now, I just want to double check, because you'll miss problems if you don't double check your math. And it's always a great idea, and you have plenty of time to double check your math. So let's double check our math. So I'm going to go back over to number 2. 651.70 times 12 gives me 7,820.40. And when I divide that by 0.0675, I get 115,857.78. And over here, when I divide 115,857 5778. When I divide that by 0.90, I get $128,730.86. All right, there you go. That is a typical math problem you might see on the exam, and we just figured it out. It's not that difficult. Now, you can always go in the back door, okay? Sometimes I have to do that. I just take each answer and I start running it backwards because for some reasons I know how to take each answer times the loan amount, 90% loan to value, keep working it that way. You're going to get a loan amount, then take that times the interest rate, gives you the annual interest, divide that by 12, and did that come up to the monthly interest that was given to you in the problem? So don't worry about the math. You're gonna do fine on that. You do need to know those definitions, and we have some digital flashcards at Global Real Estate School. I've also have My Real Estate Exam Coach. There's lots of short videos. It works in all 50 states. Lots of short exam videos, lots of test questions, audio that you can listen to in your car. In fact, I'm selling the audios if you want to just listen to those while you exercise, work around the house, or commuting out on a drive or whatever. You can listen to those and pass the exam as well. GlobalRealEstateSchool.com. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Be sure and subscribe. We'd love to have you as a subscriber. Click the bell. Each and every time I go live, you'll be able to participate. As always, thanks for watching. Go out and have a great day.